Hey, everybody. Thanks for downloading this episode of the Black and Gold podcast, brought to you each and every week by Boonshine Brewing Company. They're making the high country a better place and helping Boone shine, and they're doing a great job. And this week's Brewer's Choice is the West Boone. I'm sorry. East Boone Pilsner. I got in trouble for that several years ago, and I like teasing myself about it. It's the East Boone Pilsner. You know what that means. $4 pints all week long. Crisp, refreshing, and the perfect way to kick back and enjoy the week. It's a classic, Big C, the East Boone Pilsner. Where do you
Yeah.
rank the East Boone Pilsner in your list of Boonshine drafts?
Oh wow. Well, it's one of the classics, um, but it's there are a lot of moonshine drafts. Um, I would say it's in the upper half.
Upper half?
Yeah,
Yeah.
upper half. Maybe
Yeah.
close to upper third.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
it does
Ooh.
it does it does the trick. It's like they all do.
Yeah.
It's good and it's light and yeah, it's nice.
All about that East Boone. I like the can. The can is classic as well,
It's
right?
a
The artwork.
it's a cool yeah, it's cool artwork on the can. I really like
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very welcome to East Boone esque kind of thing. Like there's some like coastal signs and like I want to say coastal like beachy town vibe
Yeah.
signs of like in California, and it has that kind of look to it.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And
I don't
also
know
I
if
want to
that's
give a
the
shout
best way
out
to
to,
describe.
yeah, no, I agree. I want to give a shout out to Shirley Alexander, the general manager of Boonshine, for being a 4 under 40 rising star.
Yeah,
When we had a Boonshine event, really wanted to do it this year, but couldn't have a BGP Boonshine event this year. Like I said, unfortunately, but we got to deal with Shirley. It does a really good job out there. I know that Tim appreciates all the hard work that she puts in. She does a great job, and I don't know. The Boone Chamber released their list or whatever, 4 under 40, and Shirley was one of them out there at Boonshine. So
it's awesome.
congrats, yeah, very cool. So I'm your host, Alex Johnson. With me, as always, world's most famous App State fan. He is Big C. It's Sunbelt Tournament week for basketball. We already have the results of uh, one team, I guess, right? The ladies lost this afternoon to South Alabama. It was a battle of not very good Sunbelt teams here on the opening day for the ladies. And we're going to get into the men's as well. Probably going to be a nice, tidy episode here this evening. I think basically we'll talk about ladies basketball, and then baseball is on the horizon. Not a great weekend for baseball either. But I tell you what, before we get into the Olympic sports, let's shout out our sponsors. Styles Roofing, for those of you in the greater Charlotte area, 704-842-1874 is the number you need to know to call or text Appalachian alumnus Billy Styles to get the best roofing crew in the business to fix or replace your roof. They do a great job, and they're not going to get paid until the job's done and you are satisfied. They've worked with a lot of podcast listeners, and we thank them for sponsoring the segment. Also, Community One Insurance, if you're looking to get better service and cheaper insurance, I think that's a pretty good combo. Save a little money in 2026. Then you're going to want to contact Zach Ligon and Matthew Johnson at Community One. They are graduates of the Walker College of Business, Brantley Risk Management and Insurance Program. They love talking Appalachian sports with clients. I know that for a fact. And we have Black Gold Podcast listeners that use them. So if you want to save some money and get better service, 828-455-2335 is the number you need to call or text. And check out community1insurance.com. Charles, let's talk ladies basketball here. So we are done. We can check a sport off of the list. We will not be covering next week. It's always kind of like, it's kind of sad that happens. Ladies basketball looked really competitive for 3 quarters. We're leading going into the fourth and absolutely laid an egg. 6 points in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, Charles, that's just not going to win you any basketball games, is scoring just 6 points in the fourth quarter when you got a lead.
that's the story of this team has been all year long. You know, one basket, 4 free throws that results in their points. That just for 4 quarters, really much of the year. And when you go 4-14 and you're one and done in the Sun Belt tournament on day one, it stings. And you just kind of wonder, you know, it's just one of those things where it's how do you chug along and you know you're in a tight game and then it just falls apart. It just sounded like there was a quarter every game, usually the second, usually the third. Fourth quarter is the worst time for it. I hate it for those ladies. I was hoping they can get a win or so down there, but this was their destiny, unfortunately. Tough year. 11-19 they finish.
Yeah, it was a rough year. Really interested to see what Coach Sharp's going to do in the off season here, because we're really it was really a chronic issue having those droughts, those quarter droughts, and you really can't have that. So yeah, so that's over. Now let's move along here. Stick with the ladies with tennis. So we go down to Texas, go to Tarleton State, and we do lose there 4-3. Savannah Dada Maskell and Taya Powell win their doubles matchup. I'm just kind of keeping track of Savannah here because she's kind of the headliner of this team, doing so great. She won both of her. She won her doubles matchup and her singles, but could not finish against Tarleton. We do go to our good friends down in Arlington, and we do win that matchup 5-2. Charles, you're going to have to help me out here, though. Unfinished. So the doubles matchup was unfinished. What is that? Is that weather related?
No, basically just once the team clinches, they just kind of like, we're done. You know, there's no need to play on. So we've had that. So when you're playing and you've got, you know, it says 5-2, right? And you've got points for each singles match, and then you have a doubles point. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So doubles, the 3 doubles matches, someone's going to win 2 and someone's going to win 1, but it only counts for 1 point. So we won 1, 2, 3, 4 singles matches, right? UTA 1, 2, so it's 4-2. So basically those 3 doubles matches typically go on at the same time. And because those other matches went, so you can see it's 6-1, 6-0, and then the other matches 4. So those matches flew along. No need to finish off. Probably had to catch a plane, bus, or some Chipotle, and just there.
Definitely not Bojangles, though, right? We're
not doing down there.
Savannah doesn't want. So Savannah doesn't want it. It's too. The biscuits aren't
salty. Was it too salty?
I think they were too. They're too chewy, weren't they? Wasn't it chewy? Maybe I'm getting that wrong.
I can't remember.
It wasn't like fish and chips, you know, in old foggy London town. Let's continue the theme here, though, with lady sports and talk about the softball team. Now, I would say that we won all the games we should have won, and probably lost all the games we probably should have lost. At the Tennessee Invitational in Knoxville, played North Carolina Central twice, Tennessee twice, who's number 1 team in the country, and Penn State. Now, we lost our game against Penn State and both against Tennessee. But the thing is, Charles, I don't think we texted about this, but we were winning, or at least I think tied, in the 5th against Tennessee on that Friday. And I remember thinking to myself, like, how crazy it would be to do this to Tennessee. Maybe you did. You texted and said that it was the first batter, I think, that had hit a home run to start off that game. We do end up dropping that one 9-1. So there's kind of this, you know, late explosion of offense for Tennessee there in that game. But we were really close, you know, in theory there. We're still very strong early here in the year, 13-5. We do go 2-3 in the Tennessee Invitational. But Charles, that was so far the best competition that we have played in softball. And actually, I thought did really well. 10-5, drop it to Penn State, but then played a relatively close matchup on Sunday against the Volunteers, 6-2. So while we do look ahead to the Mountaineer Classic, where we're going to be playing Furman twice and Queens twice, I think it was a solid showing for the Mountaineers in Knoxville.
Let me tell you how solid of a showing this was. I had people texting me about App State softball in the middle of the day. They're like, "Are
Wow, how
you
about
checking
that?
this score?" I'm like, "I've seen," and I was like, um, "Wow, that's kind of cool," and really neat for them to get that attention. They obviously deserve it, and
Yeah,
that's only going to help them. Whether you win the game or whether you don't. I mean, you play the Tennessee the second time, and you go out and you can hold the lead for a couple frames and score first. And they're just too much. But I mean, that's why they're the number one team in the country. That's got to give these girls lots of confidence when it comes to Sunbelt play. I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to now is what can this team do when they get into Sunbelt play, more pure competition, and how much have they really grown from last year, where they had a great end of the year, and they're getting to play at home, this weekend with their home opener, and that'll be really fun. So,
yeah,
I'm really excited to see where this team goes. I mean, you could be stacking up some wins. You could be at 20 wins in no time, like in a couple more weekends, and I think that's really neat. So,
yeah,
really, I think they're a team to keep an eye on this spring for sure.
yeah. Well, we've played 18 games so far, and the only loss we have against, like you said, peer competition is UNC Greensboro in extra innings. So I think we're going toe to toe against the teams we should be going toe to toe with, and playing very competitively, frankly, with the teams that are on that power status. So it's always a good day to beat Furman, right? So Friday we kick off our first game against Furman, and then Saturday at noon play Furman as well, and got Queens coming to town as well. So really looking forward to that. Hopefully we come out with a bunch of dubs because, like you said, Charles, I mean, we're knocking on that door of 20 wins, and then of course the following weekend we're looking at Coastal and going out to. We're actually, I guess, I guess this is spring break. I'm guessing is what
Yep,
this is. So
it is.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So spending spring break in South Carolina, which they won't be the only Appalachian students, I think, spending spring break in South Carolina.
Probably not.
Probably not. So looking forward to see what they can do there. And let's see, wrestling. We actually don't need to talk about wrestling because they don't have anything. We don't have any updates for them until this weekend when they wrestle in the SoCon tournament in Asheville. So we'll talk about that. Now let's talk about some baseball. Originally, we were supposed to play Wake Forest tonight in Boone, but it's got moved to tomorrow. Is there a reason for that?
There was. I mean, it's a little cool. There was some talk of some frozen precip, and yesterday or no today, but it never really materialized.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably a little bit of the issue. So it works out. It's an hour later in the day, and keeps me out of work less. And tomorrow will be really nice, 65 degrees here on the mountains. So. And obviously that'll be like the high, and it won't be at 4 in the afternoon, but it'll be coming off of that. Actually, it might be. So nice little evening. I will take the 60s in March. No questions asked.
On the perch.
Wherever it needs to be.
That's right. So we recorded last week and had just beat East Tennessee State. Came off basically a 4-game win streak here. We're coming off a 3-game losing streak here at Gardner-Webb. Gardner-Webb typically has a pretty competitive team. I would say that, though, all things being equal, getting swept by Gardner-Webb is not great. However, if you are going to look for a silver lining here with a sweep, which, kind of hard to do, 1-run ball games. So Friday, lose the opener in 12 innings, 7-6 to Gardner-Webb. Saturday did not go into extra innings, 11-10, and then Sunday we go 11 innings and lose 8-7. So we're coming off, licking our wounds a little bit, 7-4, getting swept down there in Boiling Springs. Charles, what do we think about this? What do we think about
this stings. It's one thing to say, let's go down. If you go down there and you lose a series. All right. That's going to feel like a disappointment, no matter what the scores are. we go down there and say you got swept, it's going to feel really disappointing. But I guess if there's a way to do it, it's to be in close games.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if there's a way to do this. I'm glad this is happening to this team now,
Mm-hmm.
because if this was April and we had been struggling or something like that, then you're like, wow, you've got a Friday night game that goes 12. You give up the tying run in the ninth. You score in the top of the 12th to take the lead, and then you give 2 back. That stinks. But then you got to realize you played 12 innings of baseball, scored 6 runs. You scored 2 runs over the last 10 innings. So there's opportunities existed. Saturday is if Friday night wasn't bad enough, you score in the first 5 innings. You have I believe we were up 8-0, if I'm doing my math right, before the bottom of the 4th. It's 10-5 after 5, and you let them score 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th to win in walk-off fashion. And ouch. And you move to Sunday, and you score 5 runs in the 8th and the 9th inning to get back into it. To tie it at 7 just to give up the run in the 11th. 2 extra inning games, 3 walk-offs in a row for the weekend. I'm sure Gardner Webb feels like they're on cloud 9.
Yeah.
And I just wonder what our team's psyche is. I hope they just forget it and they get ready for Wake Forest tomorrow night, and they're like, you know what, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got a couple, you got one of these split series this weekend. You got the 1-1-1. You go South Carolina, Hickory, Boone. Fingers crossed. That's always one of the best series you can have. And hopefully this get back on track, because the following weekend is Coastal, and Coastal's reeling. Lost a lot of arms. So the opportunity is there. It presents itself to see if you can get back on track and see if you can get some wins. And I hope, I think we all hope that when you have something like this, it either lights a fire under you, like that's not who we are. We need to finish. We need to work on the details, and we'll get back on the winning track, no problems. The other end of that is like, what if it doesn't? And I don't expect that. It's too early. There's too much baseball left in the season for these guys to go down on games like this.
Yeah.
Luckily, this stuff happened now, and so I'm trying to look at it on the positive. It certainly stings, but I'm hoping in 2 months we look back at this and say, it wasn't really like a turnaround moment, but it just feels like a moment, like a weekend that just didn't go as planned, and it lit a fire or something like that. And it's not like we were on the edge of a cliff and fell off of it. We were playing good baseball before that and winning a lot of games, and it was one of those weekends, and it just happened to be one of those weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah. If you're going to do this, it needs to be very super early March or late February. You got to give yourself time to lick your wounds a little bit. Because this is it's a bummer for sure. And Wake Forest is going to present another really big challenge, so you need to take all your swings at them. No pun intended there. And you really, it's kind of a very interesting hybrid setup with going to Presbyterian, Hickory, and then Boone. It's just interesting little. It's like almost the Oregon Trail. Like on Friday, make our way up to Hickory, and then make our way up to Boone. But then you got to take care of business. Presbyterian, you got to win. You got to win that series, right? You got to win. There's no like, well, I don't know. You got to get mean about it, all filled with piss and vinegar, and take care of business and do it, because it don't get any easier, right? It's not getting any easier. We're staring down at the end of this month going to Hattiesburg too, right, on the road,
right?
And that's so we gotta
really good.
Get our ones when we can.
Yeah, newsflash. Southern Mississippi baseball.
Yeah. In case anybody just started paying attention to these things, but
I think they have the number one. I think they have the number one RPI right now. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw that earlier.
Oh wow. Okay. Um. Okay. So let's talk a little basketball here. Right now, as we are recording, Georgia State's playing Louisiana in the opening round here, where the four really bad teams are duking it out. Um, we played our one game last week. A lot of Sunbelt teams played too. We only had one on the road against Texas State, and we lose, and that was that was crushing. Because we really, I don't know. You want to end on a high note. We had every chance to win that game. I think they killed us where they killed us with that mid range. For really most of even the second half, it was just like everything they were throwing up was going in. Even though I thought we had Charles, I thought we'd had some pretty good possessions. The three, just we kind of live and die by that. And when we hit a certain percentage, we're gonna win. But man, if we're below that percentage, man, we're in trouble. So, although Texas State shot a third of as many 3-pointers as we did, we only hit two more than they did. It was a frustrating game. We still are in the top four, which is where we want to be, but it does feel a little bit like we gave it a good shot, took our swings on the road. Man, it would have been great to come up with a win there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Texas State's a tough team. They're, we talked about this. They had a good home record. They had only lost one game all year. We didn't get a lot from our bench on Friday night, but we were right there. And they are a tough team, and they're they play very similar to us. It's a battle. If you're going to play them, that would be the time is after you've had several days rest. You would hate to play them on the back end, of a Thursday, Saturday. But Luke Wilson was great. 11 points, 13 rebounds. Michael Marks Jr. 10 rebounds, 7 points. Just not enough shots fell is what it really came down to. We had some looks. I honestly thought we played pretty good, considering that we had better shot selection in the second half to an extent. We just didn't get to the free throw line as much as we needed to. But I thought the defense played really well in the second half. And we were up 55-51. Like, it was there. It was for the taking. And then, as we know with this team, occasionally they'll have a little bit of a drought, and that was the bad time for it. Like, it was in our hands. And after it all gets shaken out, I think we're in good shape, right? So a lot of the teams I think we struggle with are on the other end of the bracket, or could struggle with, are on the other end of the bracket. So we're playing Saturday at 5:30. We'll face the winner of 14,000 games before us. So one of Louisiana, Georgia State, James Madison, Southern Miss, and Texas State will, once those four decide who's gonna come out of those four games, or those five teams go to those four games, we'll find out who that is the day before, with about 24 hours notice, and we'll figure out who that is. And it could be Texas State again. It could be Southern Miss. James Madison could be a dark horse. Like, they're as hot as anybody in the league right now. But that's the beauty of that, is that we don't have to worry about the other side of the bracket, right? That we have to worry about our side, our top staircase, if you must. And it would be nice. Would it not be nice to get back at Texas State? I think that would be cool. We only played Southern Miss once this year. It was at their place. We, struggled. We played a tough game and beat them. I'm just very curious to see, especially with how this tiebreakers wiggled out, and how everyone got sorted. Arkansas State, same record in conference play as Marshall, 3 more games to get to the same spot. Got to do something about that. I think that's the Sun Belt has to really look in the mirror and say, is this good for the league to have all this chaos that we have to deal with, like, for 2 hours and trying to figure out what our bracket's going to look like? Is that good? Is the struggle that we have good enough for the press? Like, does that matter? Is that, the social media talk and things of that nature? or is it bad? Or do we need to have a better situation? Because I would hate to be us, on the other end of that, saying, you got to win the right games. You can't lose the wrong ones, and feel like if you have the same conference record as somebody, why are someone the 2 seed and someone the 7? It's kind of an incredible situation that unfolded. Um, but that's not my problem. Sorry, Arkansas State, you didn't get to play us this year, and we didn't get to lose to you, or you didn't get to lose to us, and we got the 4, and I'll take it. So 3 games, right?
Yeah.
3 games to win the Sun Belt tournament, and it's not a bad spot to be in, and I like our chances. About as good as anybody's, really. I think this league is wide open. I wouldn't put a nickel on anyone to win this tournament because I'd be afraid to lose that nickel.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is what, Coach Kern says this every year, and it really isn't coach speak because the data backs this up. It's a very even league. It's a very competitive league. And, a lot of accounts were, social media accounts, Barstool and everything else were pointing out how many teams were tied for second place. That's just how it is in this league, especially in this era. And this is what I was going to say too. Like, one thing that's been very apparent the last 2 seasons is, man, like, we just don't have a ton of effective depth, right? I mean, I think Jakari Brim will be a good player in the future. I think Jason Clark will be a good player in the future, and Andren, but they're just not contribution level ready yet, and that's okay. But we go from 23-24 to having a team that would crush this tournament, because we had depth. We had from top to bottom. We had Miles Tate coming off the bench in 23-24. And we had CJ Huntley coming off the bench in 23-24. To now it gets really top heavy really fast. Now, I think last year it was more concentrated at CJ and Miles. I think we were better off this year from that standpoint than we were last year. I think we have a little more talent spread around that rotation. Which I can't believe I'm even saying that. I had my doubts about being able to replace a guy like CJ Huntley. Not that we have, but this staff has done such a great job with this team. I mean, they've done such a great job. I mean, having to reload every team in the league has to do this, but even though it is a little scary, I just had this pulled up here. Where is it? Yeah, we had 25 bench minutes between 2 players, Aaron Banks and Chad Moody. And that was it. I mean, you're looking at basically every one of our starters, playing 30 minutes or more.
Yeah.
Alonzo Dodd basically gets a 2-minute break. And that's it, and Kaysen gets 3 minutes. And you got to figure some of that. I mean, their legs being tired has to play into some of this, just not shooting as well. Now, they had a full week. I know I keep rambling here, but they had a full week to recover for this Friday game. You're still on the road. But if there's one thing that concerns me more than anything, it's that we're basically going to be leaning very heavily on the production of 5 guys. Unless Aaron Banks gets hot and you can give Kaysen or – I mean, Alonzo's such a great point guard, though. We're always so much better when he's on the court, even if he's not shooting. Anyway, I'm sorry. But that's the thing that I think it will be our thing to really watch out for is the load management, which we don't have any, really. We just have to hope these guys play efficient enough to take care of business and win the next one.
And I think that's just what the new era of college basketball looks like, and that's what it's done for us. It's hard to be 10 deep at this level because if you are, they're going to go somewhere else and get paid. And there's other teams just like that. But I say to our depth, you look at the 3 all Sun Belt teams that were released and where those players came from, and then the players of the year and the newcomers and all that. I mean, we had 3 guys out of 19 represented.
Oh yeah,
and that in a 14-team league, I think Dustin Kearns mentioned this. That is incredible. It was a great point. What a great point of pride to say, like, look, man, that's a lot of people represented when you have a lot of players to be considered from a league that is as big as it is. Goes a lot to them. I mean, you can't just play 40 minutes or play 36 minutes and you'd be guaranteed to score points and put up stats and stuff like that. Really, really cool for Luke Wilson as well. I mean, defensive player of the year.
Oh yeah.
Really neat. That's such great news. I hope nobody else saw it out there.
I got a
I
few
hope
text messages to that effect. It's like, hey, when are we having a golf tournament to keep Luke Wilson?
Yeah.
Real quick before we
We'll
go
probably
any
have
further.
several.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll need
Before we
several.
go any further, I want to make sure I give a shout out to Mountaineer Mania, our special guest sponsor, 497 West King Street, downtown Boone. It's a staple. Actually, I saw Matt Hasselbeck, of all people, not affiliated with the podcast whatsoever, was wearing an Appalachian hat on Colin Coward's show, and he gave Mountaineer Mania a shout out. So Matt Hasselbeck has been to Mountaineer Mania. That's where he buys his hats. I'm always plugging the hats at Mountaineer Mania. So go check them out like Matt Hasselbeck did and get yourself a hat and other gear. I mean, it's starting to warm up a little bit. We had that false spring. Go have to have another false spring, of course. But weather's getting warmer. Go get some new gear to show out when we can all be outside in normal clothes, all without being all bundled up. Check out Mountaineer Mania. And remember that part of your purchase will go to support Mountaineer Athletics. And, of course, Blue Deer Cookies, downtown Boone, downtown Blowing Rock, and West Jefferson. Best coffee in Boone. Get yourself a sweet treat. And one of the coolest places to hang out in Boone. Go check them out. We thank them for sponsoring the show.
AJ,
it is really – so
AJ,
what?
This made me think,
Yeah.
man. So Matt Hasselbeck went to Mountaineer Mania. Mountaineer Mania is sponsored BGP.
Yeah.
What is the most famous person that you've seen at one of our sponsors? And this is not for a question for you. It's a question for listeners. Like, or that has frequented or visited someone that has sponsored BGP over the years. And it got me thinking that, like, Matt Hasselbeck's probably one of those guys.
Yeah.
Marty Smith went to Boonshine to do the ESPN segment, doing all that stuff. And I just wonder if anyone's seen someone famous, in a BGP sponsored establishment, if there's more of that out there. It just made me think.
I think it's that's a great. I've forgotten that Marty Smith did that segment out there with Tim. That's pretty cool. Yeah, let's hear some stories. If there's anybody that has seen anybody on King Street or whatever, holler at us. You always have great conversations with the cashiers at these places because they've seen it all. They have to interact literally with everybody that comes through there.
Yes.
Right. You would be great to do that because a lot of students obviously work up there. I'm not going to say which sponsor it is because they were actually treating this with a lot of like kid gloves. But one of the Yosefs works at one of our sponsors. And this particular Yosef was, and what I mean by is like the mascot. This person was kind of giving me a lot of the trade secrets about Yosef and how they strategically approach new seasons of Yosef and what Yosef should be doing in dances and stuff. It's all very, very cool. But these are kind of just sitting there and serving us and ringing us up and everything else. They see what's going on. They see the customers. They're interacting. They've seen some stuff. So it'll be interesting to see who the most famous person is. Matt Hasselbeck. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck is a quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Right.
This is a dude that, he's played a lot of football in the NFL. And our staff has a lot of NFL experience, Charles. I don't know if you know that or are aware of that, but that's what they say.
I heard they did, yeah.
You heard they did. I want to shout out also CJ Huntley signed another 2-way contract with the Phoenix Suns. That's pretty cool. CJ's playing really, really well for the Valley. I think he originally signed a 2-way contract, and then I don't know the industry terms or whatever for, I don't know, I guess they released him or whatever, and then they picked him back up in the G League. But he signed another 2-way contract, playing really, really well for the Valley in the G League. And I noticed that the Alumni Association, the Hornets, are having App State Night on April 2nd in Charlotte. I think this should be promoted more. And what's really funny is I wonder if that's when the Suns are coming to town. And sure enough, it is.
It is, yeah.
So
I hope it's just not by, coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Like the Charlotte Hornets organization has paid half of CJ Huntley's 2A contract just to merch sales and
Oh yeah,
concessions.
yeah. But I think this
I'm
should be. I
kidding.
mean, Appalachian shows really well at the Hurricanes, right in Raleigh. CJ Huntley could very well be in Charlotte on April 2nd. I mean, I don't know for sure. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously, like I don't know, but he's a Huntersville boy, and for his whole life. So, um, go check it out. April 2nd in Charlotte at night. They got the Hornets hat with the Appalachian block A, similar to how they did with the Crawdads did that, right? They have the Hickory Crawdads hat in the
yeah,
A or whatever.
yep.
So I think that'd be cool. I really want to. The only reason I wouldn't go to that is if my son had a baseball game that night. I
Of
managed the
course.
team, so that would be a tough. It'd be tough to miss that. But anyway, go check it out, folks. Go there. I saw that Reggie Hill's attending. Malcolm and Candace Stiers are attending, and some other folks. I guess you don't have to buy your tickets through the Alumni Association, but it'd be nice to check out. And I'm really, really happy for CJ. One of our best recent episodes, I feel like, with CJ, and looking at his huge collection and everything else. Charles, it was a good
Oh
time.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Is there anything else here? Obviously, Appalachian's playing Saturday at 5:30. I agree with you ultimately, Charles. I mean, we're in a good spot. Being in the top four, we're very fortunate. I mean, the top two would be sweeter or whatever, but the fact that we're only 2 games away from the championship, that's pretty awesome. Is there anything else that we need to cover this week?
No, I don't think so. This is a big week. Maybe if we have the time and we get really excited Saturday night, see what we did this last year. Maybe we get on and talk for 15 minutes about a game that we won right on Saturday,
Yeah.
and see if we can do
Right.
that for 3 more nights in a row. What do you think?
Hey, we've done it
Yeah.
before, so maybe we could do it again. So very cool. All right, well, this is it. So everybody, thanks for downloading this episode of the Black and Gold podcast. Thanks to Boonshine for sponsoring the show. And until next week, hopefully we can talk about a Presbyterian sweep and a lot more wins stacked up for softball, basketball, and maybe a tournament win for the wrestling team. But until that time, go Apps.